Hello, welcome to our channel.
Hello.
Today we thought we are going to do a little bit more of a sit down video and share a story of how we decided to come to Portugal and what were the reasons why we wanted to leave the UK and what were the plans for us here in Portugal. Since it's been a little over a year since we are in Portugal, we decided it's a good time to start sharing our experiences here. So we are starting today with the story of how we even decided to come here. To start off, I just wanted to say that we didn't really talk about this moving to Portugal, moving away from the UK before. For all the years that we've been living in the UK, which was about six years, we didn't really talk about it. It all kind of happened in an instant, in one night. Maybe there were some things inside both of us that we were considering quietly, but we didn't really talk about it until then. We probably were more talking about sometime in the future we might move somewhere else and more like that.
Well, yeah, I think we always had the idea of moving maybe back to Portugal or at least to a sunny country, but it was always a 5-10 years plan. It wasn't something that we were thinking at the moment, and that's why we had just bought a house in the UK in 2000, end of 2015, and we were definitely, at least I was definitely planning to stay for the next 10 years in there. And yeah, suddenly there was some decisions that may have influenced it, and yeah, and then it was kind of a quick decision for us that it was the time to move somewhere different.
Okay, so since we haven't been talking about this for all these years and haven't been planning anything, how did we came to it? For me, it all kind of started more inside after we traveled with our motorhome in 2016, which was really nice. We spent 3 months going through France, Spain, and Portugal, and then back to UK. And after we came back to the UK, it just never felt the same again, and it just, I don't know why, but I started to feel like I don't want to live here anymore. But it wasn't anything that I was planning and try to convince Fabio now or anything like that. So we came to one night I think it was about Christmas time in 2017, and we were just talking about something one evening after probably watching Place in the Sun, Home or Away. So that one evening we just started talking about like what would have to happen for us to finally move away and do something interesting like that. We ended up realizing that nothing really has to happen. We just need to make that decision and we are good to go.
When I think I started considering the idea is I was working in the UK for a company that I was working fully remotely, so I could work from home full time. And I think that's when I started thinking, hey, why am I here? I could be working in anywhere in the world. I literally went to the office on the first week, I think, and then on the last day to give my laptop back. And I was thinking, we could be anywhere in the world. So that was when I started thinking about it. And this is at the same time when we were doing that trip on the motorhome from the UK to Portugal and back. So when the UK voted to leave the EU, which came to be known as Brexit, and yeah, it was just a big factor for me. I mean, it goes completely against my principles, and as just after that, I was just not 100% happy in there. So it was these two factors: the idea that we could be working anywhere in the world, and the idea that Britain was becoming a bit more close to Europe than I would have liked. So that's when I started thinking about it.
Yeah, I think it was a really fun night that time that we were so excited. I think I remember we couldn't sleep. We were immediately looking at houses that night and stuff, and it wasn't like 100% decided in that night, but it was like a really big turning point for us. I think after that we were thinking, oh, maybe in a year or so. I think on that night, that's what we were thinking. But then as we were thinking more about when is the Brexit going to happen, how are we going to sell the house, is the money, are we going to lose money? and all these things, and we just added up, and we were like, we have to do it a lot quicker. We have to do it before the Brexit happens.
At this time is when we were also maybe watching and following lots of people that were following a different lifestyle, and I think this is when we started considering that for ourselves as well.
We were thinking that we have the possibility that probably not a lot of people have, but we had the possibility to be mortgage free and possibly have a very little spendings, and we could possibly live without worrying about work too much, and if we can make that happen, that would be really cool. And we were in a place where we could make that happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, and as Fabio already mentioned, we were starting to watch lots of documentaries and follow lots of people on YouTube, and seeing how a simpler life looks so much nicer than what we are doing right now. And we kind of started really being into it, and we wanted to grow our own vegetables. But yeah, those are the few reasons. And for me, Brexit was more of a pushing on when we should do it, I suppose, rather than the reason why we are doing it.
Yeah, definitely, yes. It wasn't the main decision that, of course, led us to move. It was just the decision, the push to make the decision to move at that time. Otherwise, I think we would have stayed a bit longer in there.
Definitely.
Why did you choose Portugal?
Well, for me, I have visited a few times before, and I really like the country. It's warm almost all year round, but like, I will get to that in the next video, because that was more my expectation, that it's going to be warm here more than reality. And I just like the fact that you could grow vegetables and things like that all year round, and that could really contribute really well to us having lesser spendings. That's what we thought, at least that was the plan. And obviously the fact that Fabio is Portuguese, which made me feel like everything's gonna be easier if at least one of us know things around here, one of us at least speaks the language, and at least one of us has the family here, that if we need for anything they can help, and they did a lot since we've come here. And yeah, that for me, that was those reasons mostly.
Yeah, well, for me it's easier. It's also obviously because I was coming home basically. But yeah, well, it's a bit of what Lime is saying as well. Makes it easier, of course, for us because I can speak the language fluently. And I already know, of course, lots of places, and it's everything familiar. Having my family nearby is obviously a big plus, and it was a really big help when we moved here, because we were looking for this house for a very long time, and we could just stay at my parents'. And not only because, of course, it's familiar and it is my country, but I think it can also be a really good country. A really good place to live if you want that
slow and simple life.
Yeah, slow and simple life. I know I'm saying this, and that really isn't true if you have to live and work in Portugal. For the majority of the people, that really is just a dream. It's not the case, because as you may know, salaries are low here, so it's not that easy. But if we, and this is the overall plan, if we can reduce our expenses to a very small amount, and then we don't need to worry that much about income, then it can be a really good place to have the lifestyle that we want.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why we made this decision.
It was a pretty easy decision for Portugal.
Yeah,
None of
decision.
us are really adopting any other countries, to be honest. Now that we shared you how we came to this decision, I just wanted to give a quick few words on what was the plan of being here. Kobe wants to join.
Kobe wants to be in the video as well.
Yeah.
What was your reason?
Yeah, well, he wasn't with us.
He wasn't
before.
part of our family in the UK, unfortunately.
What was the big plan of what we are gonna do here? Because I think a lot of people were asking, but what are you going to do there? The big thought was that we would buy a house that is cheap enough that we wouldn't need a mortgage, and it would have to have a big plot of land so that we can grow our vegetables and provide for ourselves more or less
Yeah, well,
with the
we
food.
don't want to be self-sufficient or
Yeah,
anything like that.
but
It's
we would,
just to reduce our expenses a little bit and
as much as we can in
yeah,
all the ways.
and
Yeah.
keep us, of course, keep us busy doing it and have something to that we enjoy doing as well.
And like obviously having more time for our hobbies, like cycling for Fabio and for me doing yoga and things like that that I like.
Well, we first of all we were very lucky and privileged to be in a position where we could just move somewhere
Yeah.
and have some savings to buy a house, and that way we would of course reduce a lot our needs for money, and that's what we wanted, to be in a position where we don't need to be stressfully thinking about just the income to pay our bills. So that's where we, or at least I wanted to be. And if I want just to take some time off to do something, then we could do it, let that be business, or just do have more time to do things that we wanted. So that was basically the goal, and the idea of coming here was that have a life that where we need less money uh, in order to be able to have more of a saying in what we have to do to pay for that life.
We will end here. That is how we came up with this idea. And in the next video, I wanted to share of how this first year in Portugal has come out for us. Have we achieved all the goals that we wanted? Is the life like, is the life really here like we wanted it to be when we first decided to come here? And yeah, what has been our experience in the first year of living in Portugal, buying a house, renovating, moving, traveling? How is it all been? And yeah, so we'll keep you updated when the next video comes out, because that is going to be an interesting one as well. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.